Tonight, you will probably climb into a bed. You may complain that the pillow is too warm, the mattress is too hard, or that one corner of the blanket has somehow disappeared during the night. But imagine removing all of it. No mattress, no pillow, no blanket, no bedroom, just you, the ground, and several thousand insects who have already decided that you are tonight's buffet. For most of human history, sleeping was not simply a matter of becoming tired and closing your eyes. The ground could be cold, it could be wet, it could be covered in parasites, and depending on where you lived, something nearby might be interested in eating you. So at some point, humans began changing the place where they slept. They collected plants, they built soft surfaces, they raised themselves above the floor, and eventually, they created one of the most ordinary objects in your home, the bed. But the first beds were nothing like yours, and strangely enough, comfort may not have been the main reason humans invented them. So why did humans finally stop sleeping directly on the ground? The floor of a cave may look like a convenient place to sleep. It is flat, it is sheltered, and unlike a tree branch, it usually does not move during the night. But a prehistoric cave floor was not a clean bedroom. It was a shared surface used for walking, cooking, making tools, throwing away food, and occasionally bringing home parts of animals that had recently stopped being animals. It also collected moisture, dirt, ash, bones, waste, and insects. Sleeping directly on that surface meant losing heat into the ground throughout the night. Even in a warm climate, the earth beneath you could become surprisingly cold, and cold was not merely uncomfortable. A tired person who could not stay warm slept badly, recovered poorly, and started the next day weaker. Then there were the smaller residents. Fleas, ticks, mites, lice, and other insects were not waiting for the invention of modern houses. They were already doing very well. A person lying directly on the ground made their job much easier. So the first step toward a bed was probably not luxury. It was separation. Humans needed a layer between their bodies and everything underneath them. Some of the oldest known evidence for deliberate bedding comes from Border Cave in southern Africa. There, researchers found remains of grass placed in sleeping and working areas around 200 years ago. These were not wooden bed frames. They were layers of broadleaf grass gathered and arranged on the cave floor. Basically, a prehistoric mattress, except there was no delivery truck, no warranty, and no 30-night free trial. The people using the cave appear to have repeatedly brought in fresh plant material and placed it in particular areas. That matters. A random pile of grass can collect naturally, but repeatedly gathering grass, carrying it into a shelter, arranging it, using it, and later replacing or burning it suggests deliberate maintenance of a living space. This was not simply a place where people collapsed when they became tired. It was a place they organized. And that makes the early bed something larger than a soft surface. It may be part of the story of how humans began turning natural shelters into homes. The grass bedding at Border Cave was often found on layers of ash. That may sound like an unpleasant place to lie down, but ash has useful properties. It can create a cleaner, drier surface. It can also make movement difficult for certain crawling insects by damaging their bodies or interfering with their ability to survive. Researchers have suggested that the cave's occupants may have deliberately placed bedding over ash to reduce pests. We cannot know exactly what every person understood 200 years ago. They were probably not discussing insect biology around the fire, but they could observe results. Fresh grass felt better than bare ground. Old bedding attracted pests. Burning or replacing it made the sleeping area better again. This is how much early human technology probably developed, not through written theories, through someone noticing that one method worked, remembering it, and doing it again. The first bedroom improvement may therefore have been a mixture of mattress, cleaning system, and insect control, all made from grass and yesterday's fire. Once humans began preparing special sleeping surfaces, something important changed. Part of the shelter now had a purpose. This area was for fire. This area was for tools. This area was for food. And this area was where bodies rested. That sounds obvious today because modern homes are divided into specialized rooms. But early shelters usually had no walls separating a kitchen, workshop, bedroom, and living room. The organization had to exist through behavior. A prepared bed marked a boundary without needing a door. It kept sleeping bodies away from some of the dirt, sharp objects, food remains, and constant movement of the camp. It may also have helped protect babies and young children by giving caregivers a known, softer place to put them down. The bed was beginning to do more than support the body. It was organizing human life. A layer of grass solves some problems, but it does not solve everything. Water can still reach it. Rodents can still enter it. Insects can still crawl into it. And anyone walking through the shelter can still step on it. The next major improvement was obvious once humans had the tools and materials to build it: raise the sleeping surface. Different cultures developed raised beds in different ways. Some used wooden frames. Some used woven cords or leather strips. Some used mats supported above the floor. In warmer regions, open woven surfaces also allowed air to move beneath the sleeper. Elevation helped separate people from cold floors, dirt, moisture, and some crawling pests. Not all of them, of course. A determined insect has never respected human engineering, but even a small amount of height could make the sleeping area cleaner and easier to maintain. By a time of ancient Egypt, raised wooden beds were clearly established. Some had simple frames with woven sleeping surfaces. Others belonged to wealthy households and were carefully shaped, decorated, and fitted with elaborate supports. The bed had moved from a pile of plants to a recognizable piece of furniture. Once beds became objects that required skilled labor and valuable materials, they also became signs of wealth. A poor household might sleep on mats, straw-filled sacks, simple pallets, benches, or shared surfaces. A wealthy person could own a raised wooden frame, woven support, linen sheets, cushions, decorated posts, and servants responsible for keeping everything clean. The difference was not only softness. A larger and more elaborate bed required space, and private indoor space has always been expensive. For much of history, many ordinary people did not have a room used only for sleeping. Homes were smaller, heat was costly, families worked, ate, rested, and slept in spaces that served several purposes. Beds could be shared by married couples, children, relatives, travelers, or servants, depending on the period and household. The modern idea that every person should have a private bedroom would have seemed extremely luxurious to much of humanity. For them, the important question was not, "Is my mattress good for spinal alignment?" It was, "Is there enough room for everyone? And who is currently stealing the blanket?" In colder homes, especially in parts of medieval and early modern Europe, large beds were sometimes surrounded by curtains. Today, a bed with curtains looks dramatic and royal, like someone expects to be informed that the kingdom is under attack before breakfast. But the curtains had practical uses. Buildings could be difficult to heat. Windows and walls allowed drafts. A thick curtain around the bed helped trap warmer air close to the sleepers. It also created privacy inside a room that might contain other people. This is important because privacy did not always come from having a separate bedroom. Sometimes it came from fabric. The bed became a small room inside a larger room, a warm, enclosed space where people could sleep, talk, give birth, recover from illness, and sometimes receive important visitors. Among the wealthy, the bed could become one of the most valuable and publicly significant objects in the household. It was private furniture that was not always used privately. The frame was only half the problem. Humans still needed something soft enough to lie on. Across different times and places, mattresses and sleeping pads were filled or constructed with whatever was locally available: grass, straw, reeds, wool, cotton, feathers, animal hair, leaves, and other plant fibers. Each material came with advantages and problems. Straw was cheap, but could flatten, break down, and attract pests. Wool was warmer but more expensive. Feathers were soft, but collecting enough of them required time and resources. Mattresses also had to be aired, turned, shaken, cleaned, or refilled. Without regular maintenance, the comfortable bed could become its own small ecosystem. The phrase, "sleep tight," is often claimed to come from tightening ropes on old beds, although that popular explanation is not securely proven. But beds supported by ropes or woven cores certainly existed, and those supports could loosen with use. So even after humans escaped the ground, they were still regularly repairing the thing, preventing them from returning to it. The bed is ancient. The private bedroom is much newer. For most people, separating sleep into its own dedicated room required larger homes, better heating, more affordable furniture, and enough wealth to give indoor space only one function. As housing changed, bedrooms became increasingly specialized. Work moved elsewhere. Cooking moved elsewhere. Guests were received elsewhere. Children were gradually given separate sleeping spaces. The bed also changed with industrial production. Metal frames became more widely available. Springs altered how mattresses supported weight. Factories produced standardized bedding. Modern materials made mattresses easier to manufacture and sell at large scale. By the 20th century, advertising began promising not merely a place to sleep, but scientifically designed comfort. Humans had spent hundreds of thousands of years trying to get away from cold earth, moisture, and insects. How companies could warn that the real danger was choosing the wrong firmness level. So why did humans start sleeping in beds? Not because they suddenly became delicate, and probably not because one prehistoric person woke up and decided that the cave needed better interior design. Beds developed because sleep left humans vulnerable. Prepared sleeping surface helped keep the body warmer, drier, cleaner, and more separated from insects and the activity of the camp. Raising that surface improved the separation. Frames, mats, mattresses, curtains, and private rooms came later. Each added something new: protection, warmth, cleanliness, status, privacy, comfort. The modern bed is the result of all of those layers, and that may be the strangest part. Her mattress is not simply a soft object, where nothing happens for 8 hours. It is the latest version of a survival technology that began with people gathering grass and placing it carefully on the ground. Tonight, when you climb into bed, you may still complain that the pillow is too warm. That is fine. Your ancestors spent 100 years improving the situation. You are allowed to be a little difficult.